Getting hired on the Space Coast is the exciting part. Choosing where to live is where the move can start getting complicated. A lot of people relocate here because of work, connected to aerospace, defense, engineering, aviation, healthcare, military support, or the space industry. But for this video, I want to focus on 3 of the biggest names people usually recognize when they are moving here for work: NASA and Kennedy Space Center, SpaceX, and Northrop Grumman. Those 3 alone can create very different home searches. A job connected to Kennedy Space Center may pull your search toward the northern part of Brevard County. SpaceX and launch-related work can make commute access to Cape Canaveral and the Space Center a major priority. Northrop Grumman is a different conversation because that usually brings Melbourne, West Melbourne, Palm Bay, Viera, Sunry, and even some beachside areas into play, depending on your lifestyle and budget. So before you fall in love with a house online, you need to understand how the Space Coast actually functions, because the right house in the wrong location can get old very quickly. The Space Coast is not one small beach town. People from out of the area often hear Space Coast and picture one compact place near the water. That is not really how it works. Brevard County stretches across a lot of different lifestyles, housing options, commute patterns, and price points. Titusville feels very different from Viera. Melbourne does not live the same as Cocoa Beach. Palm Bay creates a completely different buying experience than Satellite Beach, Merritt Island, Rockledge, Cape Canaveral, or Melbourne Beach. Someone working near Kennedy Space Center may care most about access to the north end of the county. A buyer relocating for a role near Northrop Grumman may be focused farther south, around Melbourne or Palm Bay. Military families, contractors, engineers, and support staff can all be moving to the Space Coast for similar industries, but their daily routines may look completely different. That's why I would not start with the house first. Start with a job location. After that, think about your commute, your schedule, your budget, your lifestyle, and how much of your week you actually want to spend driving. Start with your daily routine, not the listing photos. Listing photos can make almost any home look like a good idea. A nice kitchen, updated floors, a pool, a big yard, or pretty beachside setting can pull you in fast. Then you map the drive. Suddenly, the perfect house may not look quite as perfect if it puts you farther from work than you had expected. That matters even more if you're working long shifts, early hours, launch-related schedules, engineering hours, base-adjacent jobs, or a role where you need reliable access to a specific part of the county. Space Coast traffic is not the same as Orlando, Miami, or Tampa. Still, your commute matters when you're doing it every week. A 10-minute difference on paper may not sound dramatic. Over time, the wrong location starts affecting dinner, school pickup, beach time, errands, workouts, and how much energy you have left after work. The best home search starts with a simple question: where do you need to be most often? Once that answer is clear, the map starts making a lot more sense. NASA and Kennedy Space Center are 2 of the biggest reasons people know the Space Coast. If your job is connected to Kennedy Space Center, the northern part of Brevard County may become one of the first areas you consider. Titusville, Mims, Cocoa, Merritt Island, Cape Canaveral, Cocoa Beach, and parts of Rockledge can all come into the conversation, depending on your exact work site and how you want to live. A lot of buyers assume they should just get as close to the Space Center as possible. Sometimes that makes sense. Other times, the better choice depends on your price point, your family needs, your tolerance for driving, and whether you want a quieter residential feel or a more coastal lifestyle. Titusville can be appealing if you want access to the north end of the county and potentially more value than some of the central or beachside areas. Merritt Island may make sense for someone who wants a residential setting with access toward the Space Center, beaches, and central Brevard. Cocoa can be more affordable in certain pockets, but the neighborhood and property condition matter a lot. Cape Canaveral and Cocoa Beach bring the beach lifestyle into the picture, which sounds great, but the real cost of living near the water needs to be understood before you buy. Insurance, condo rules, flood zones, parking, tourist activity, roof age, HOA fees, and rental restrictions can all change the ownership experience. None of that means that beachside is wrong. It means beachside needs to be evaluated like a real home purchase, not a vacation fantasy. For some working near Kennedy Space Center, the big question is not only how close can I get? A better question is which area gives me the right balance between commute, budget, home type, and the way I want to live when I'm not at work. SpaceX is one of the names people immediately associate with the modern Space Coast. When someone's moving here for launch-related work, the home search often becomes very location sensitive. Access to Cape Canaveral, Kennedy Space Center, the port area, or related facilities can matter a lot depending on your exact role. Some buyers want to be as close as possible because their schedule is demanding. Others are willing to drive farther if it means getting more space, a newer home, a quieter neighborhood, or a better fit for their family. That is where the search can get tricky. Cocoa Beach may sound exciting if you're picturing surf, launches, restaurants, and the beach right there. Cape Canaveral can also be appealing if you want proximity and a coastal feel. Merritt Island may give you a more residential option while still keeping you connected to that side of the county. Titusville can make practical sense for certain buyers tied to the north end. Rockledge or Viera may enter the conversation if you want a more central lifestyle and are comfortable with the drive. A lot depends on whether your priority is convenience, budget, lifestyle, or long-term resale. For example, someone relocating alone for a high-demand aerospace role may be willing to live closer to work, even if the home is smaller. A family moving with kids, pets, or remote work needs may prioritize square footage, community amenities, schools, or a layout that works better day to day. The mistake is assuming one answer works for everyone. A SpaceX-related move can point you towards several different areas, but the right one depends on what your life looks like after the workday ends. If you work near Northrop Grumman in Melbourne, Northrop Grumman changes the map completely. When your job is tied to the Melbourne side of the Space Coast, the search usually shifts south. Melbourne, West Melbourne, Palm Bay, Viera, Sunry, and parts of the beachside communities may become more practical than areas farther north. That does not mean you cannot live elsewhere. It does mean you need to think carefully before choosing a home based only on price or pictures. West Melbourne can be convenient for buyers who want access to shopping, restaurants, employers, the airport area, and everyday services. Melbourne has a wide range of neighborhoods, so the experience can change quickly depending on where you are looking. Palm Bay often comes up when buyers want more house for the money, larger lots in certain areas, or a lower entry point compared with newer planned communities or beachside options. Viera and Sunry may appeal to buyers who want a more polished, organized feel with easy access to amenities, medical, shopping, dining, and I-95. Beachside areas like Indialantic, Indian Harbor Beach, Satellite Beach, and Melbourne Beach can make sense if coastal lifestyle matters enough to justify the trade-offs. Those trade-offs can include price, insurance, older housing stock, smaller lots, HOA or condo considerations, and a different kind of maintenance. For someone working near Northrop Grumman, this is where lifestyle starts competing with commute. Do you want to be close to work? Would you rather be closer to the beach? Does a newer home matter more than a short drive? Are you trying to stay within a certain budget while still getting enough space? Once those priorities are clear, the area conversation becomes much easier. A budget on the Space Coast does not behave the same everywhere. Around the $400,000 to $800,000 range, buyers can have very different options depending on where they look. Palm Bay may offer more square footage in many situations. Viera often carries a premium because of newer communities, planning, amenities, convenience, and demand. Melbourne can vary widely depending on whether you're looking near downtown, West Melbourne, Lake Washington, O'Galley, or closer to the beaches. Merritt Island is highly location dependent because water access, lot size, age of the home, and proximity to major work hubs can change values quickly. Titusville may create a more affordable entry point for certain buyers working near the north end of the county. Cocoa Beach, Satellite Beach, Indialantic, and Melbourne Beach can compress your options because beachside living carries its own pricing structure. That does not mean you should avoid the beach. It means the beach budget needs to be honest. A home near the water can come with higher insurance considerations, older systems, smaller footprints, condo or HOA rules, and more maintenance than buyers expect. Meanwhile, a home farther inland may give you more space, newer construction, or a lower monthly payment, but the trade-off could be commute or lifestyle. Neither option is automatically right. The important thing is knowing what your money is actually buying. Do not forget insurance, roof age, and flood zones. Work relocation buyers sometimes focus so much on the job, the commute, and the purchase price that they forget about Florida ownership costs. That can be a very expensive mistake. Insurance matters here. Roof age matters here. Flood zones, wind mitigation, storm protection, AC age, plumbing, electrical, and exterior condition can all affect the real cost of owning a home on the Space Coast. A house that looks affordable online may not feel affordable once you understand the insurance quote, HOA fees, flood insurance, repairs, or maintenance. This is especially important if you are buying beachside, near the river, near canals, or in an older neighborhood. A lower list price does not always mean a lower cost of ownership. Someone relocating for work may be approved for a certain purchase price, but monthly comfort is a different conversation. Your mortgage payment is only one part of the decision. A smart search looks at the full picture before you fall in love with the house. Newer home or better location. Another common issue for work relocation buyers is the choice between a newer home and a better location. Many people want both. Sometimes that happens. Often, though, the Space Coast makes you choose. A newer home in Palm Bay may give you more space, a modern layout, and fewer immediate updates. A more established area in Melbourne might put you closer to work, restaurants, downtown, or beach access. Viera may offer newer communities and convenience, but the price may be higher. Beachside homes can have incredible lifestyle appeal, yet many of them are older or require more maintenance. Titusville may give you practicality for Kennedy Space Center access, while other areas may feel better for your family's daily life. The right answer depends on your non-negotiables. Some buyers want a shorter commute above everything else. Others care more about schools, lot size, garage space, a pool, newer systems, or living close to the beach. A good move does not come from chasing the best area. It comes from choosing the area that fits your real life. Even if you're moving here for a long-term job, resale should still be part of the conversation. Life changes, contracts change, promotions happen, remote work changes, military orders change, family needs shift. A home that works for you today should also make sense when it's time to sell. This is especially true if you're connected to aerospace, defense, military, or contractor work, where relocation can happen faster than expected. A strong resale position usually comes from a combination of location, condition, price point, layout, maintenance, and buyer demand. That does not mean you have to buy the safest or most boring house. It means you should understand what future buyers are likely to care about. Will they like the commute? Does the home have a functional layout? Could insurance be a concern? Does the area have steady demand? Are you buying something highly specific that may be harder to resell later? These questions matter before you write an offer, not after you own the home. If you're moving to the Space Coast for work, I would narrow the search in this order. First, identify your actual work location, not just the company name. A job connected to NASA, SpaceX, or Northrop Grumman can mean different commute patterns, depending on the site. Second, decide how much drive time you can honestly tolerate. Some people are fine with a longer commute if the home and lifestyle are worth it. Other people know that anything over a certain distance will make them miserable. Third, get clear on budget beyond the purchase price. Include insurance, taxes, HOA fees, maintenance, flood insurance if needed, utilities, and any updates the home may need after closing. Fourth, choose your lifestyle priority. Maybe you want beach access. Maybe you want newer construction. Another buyer may care most about a short drive, a larger yard, or being close to shopping and restaurants. Fifth, compare areas before comparing houses. That step saves a lot of time. Once you know which parts of the Space Coast actually fit your job and your life, the house search becomes much less overwhelming. Moving to the Space Coast for work can be an incredible opportunity. Between NASA, Kennedy Space Center, SpaceX, Northrop Grumman, and the larger aerospace, defense, aviation, military, and tech economy here, a lot of people are building really exciting lives in this area. But the home search needs to be strategic. A beautiful house will not fix a commute you hate. A short drive will not matter if the area does not fit your lifestyle. A lower price may not be a real deal once you factor in insurance, repairs, and maintenance. The goal is not just to buy a home on the Space Coast. The goal is to buy a home that actually supports the reason you moved here in the first place. So if you're relocating to Brevard County, Indian River County, or anywhere along the Space Coast for work, I would be happy to help you figure out which areas make the most sense before you start touring homes. You can call or text me at 321-446-6575, email me at kellysoldit@gmail.com, or visit my website and fill out the Buy with Kelly form. And before you fall in love with the kitchen, the pool, the beach photos, start with a part of the map where your life is actually going to revolve around. That one decision can make the entire move easier.